Good morning, happy Tuesday. I'm coming to you today because we're starting a brand new project in our class and I wanted to take you along on the journey. I just finished up in one of my classes a kind of like atomic age rubber duck themed bath collection. And now we're moving out of the bath and into the kitchen. And we have to design similarly a series of prints that would go on an apron, a pot holder, and 2 kitchen towels, I think. I need to double check the requirements, but today what I have to do is just come up with a concept of some kind. And I've been doing research on trend forecasting boards and doing some soul searching, and I think I came up with a topic, and I want to share that with you just so you could be here from the start, you know? So as you guys know, I like to inject a little bit of my own personal history and storytelling into my works just because it makes me a little bit more excited about them, and then I feel like they're a little bit more authentic when there's a piece of me in my works. And a lot of the times in my classes, people will do topics that are relating to their heritage or their nationality or where their family's from or etc. And I just haven't really done that yet. And I kind of thought this could be a fun opportunity to do so. My family is from Serbia, and actually I'm one of the first people in my family to not be directly born from that region of the world. So because I didn't actually grow up in that part of the world, my connection to the culture is mostly through my parents, through my family members, through occasional visits throughout my childhood, and through the food and through Serbian recipes. There are a whole bunch of different recipes that I really love and that are really sentimental to me, but one of the things that I always associate very much with traveling and eating fruit from the region is the fruit. They have some incredible sour cherries that are my absolute favorite things in the entire world. I also always think about plums just because they're used in a lot of recipes and jams, and it's also used to make the country's national alcohol, which is slivovitz. I think of apricots because my grandma always makes apricot jams, and sometimes she would mail them to us, which is really, really special. So yeah, I want to make a fruit print, and my goal is to make something that if you look at it and you don't know anything about Serbia or Serbian culture, it doesn't really matter. You can still enjoy it because it's fruits. But if you do know me and you know my story or you know Serbian culture, you might recognize that it's from a specific region of the world. So I kind of want it to be for everybody, but then also have a little bit of Serbian flair to it. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm heading right now. I'm gonna go work on a mood board, talk to my teacher, see what she thinks of the topic, do some more research, and yeah, I'll take you along. Let's go. My research usually starts on Pinterest, where I just dump absolutely anything I find that might work for a project into a board. In doing so, the algorithm will then start to recommend things to me and give me even more ideas, and then after a few days of curating and collecting, I'll make my official mood board. I thought that it might be fun to combine the Serbian fruits with traditional Serbian rug weaving motifs. These rugs are called kilums, and they've been woven since the 9th century using vertical looms, and they feature geometric motifs that are specific to this region of the world. I thought that combining these traditional textile designs in my own textile design would be really fun, especially so if I put my own spin on it by adding the fruits too. Once my mood board was all set, I started sketching on my iPad using the app Procreate, and I made a couple thumbnail sketches of potential design ideas. My first idea was to just create a very simple, straightforward rug design of my own using the traditional motifs. Then I thought it could be fun to take some of the smaller motifs from this first design and incorporate them as the background of a tossed plum print. Next, I started sketching some fruits, and then I brought those into Photoshop to play around with in Photoshop's pattern preview mode. Hello again, I just finished up in class where you saw me make some progress on the first print of my collection, and I'm feeling weird about it. And I kind of wanted to talk it through, just explain my headspace going into this project. So a big part of this assignment is that our designs are supposed to be marketable. That's kind of the priority of this assignment, whereas in the past we've been able to just kind of do whatever we want. And if you've been following my vlogs, you know that I've definitely just been doing whatever I want because I love things that are a little bit whimsical. Maybe they have a little bit of a sense of humor. I like things to have a little something that pushes them maybe into the strange. And for this project, I don't really get the chance to do that as easily. And I think that because of that, I just feel weird. Like I feel like I'm just not doing enough, and I don't know whether to like be happy with what I'm making or not. So I kind of feel like something's off, and I think it's just me like overthinking things because I've never had to do a print that's just like traditional and marketable, which is like, I don't know, I feel like that shouldn't be a challenge, but sometimes it's giving me like major creative block. Doing this plum print did help a little bit, but I keep staring at it and I'm like, oh, what else could I do to it? And that I think is something that I'm just gonna have to like battle with myself throughout this whole process. Anyway, I will see you the next time I work on this project. Over the next week, even though I was still dealing with a lot of uncertainty, I ended up designing 2 more prints with the woven motifs in mind. My first one was just that very straightforward rug design, which I created using the motifs and layouts that I found were the most commonly used in Serbian rug weaving. To make it my own, I took some creative liberties with the colors, and I featured a plum purple just to tie everything in with my plum print. My second design features some more of those geometric rug shapes, and my favorite sour cherries is the star of the print. Because my last 2 designs were so big and so graphic, I needed something with smaller details. I also decided to repeat the same motifs from my rug design as a border on the bottom, because kitchen collections tend to be really matchy-matchy, and I thought it would tie things together nicely. At this point in the process, I was definitely still battling with myself over whether or not I liked where this collection was going, but the more I looked at these designs all together, the more I liked them. Good morning! So I'm on my way to campus, and today my goal is to get started on the whole painting process. So I have to mix my paints, I have to pick up my prints from the print lab, and then hopefully I can start practice painting and figuring out what exactly these pieces are going to look like. Right now I only have 3 of my 4 total designs done, and I honestly just can't really think of anything for my 4th design yet. I think it's just like that time of the semester where everything's coming to an end and I'm just really exhausted and burnt out, so ideas aren't really flowing, but I'm hoping that if I get started painting, I can like mess around a little bit and try to think of something as I go. I'm gonna hope for the best. So wish me luck. Oh, also, the other weekend I was at the Bronx Botanical Gardens with one of my friends, and she was like, oh, I found this restaurant we should go to, and it ended up being an Albanian restaurant, which is culturally pretty similar to Serbian culture, and look what they had in their window. I just thought this was like the funniest thing, and I felt like it was a sign that I was doing the right thing, so just made me really happy. Anyway, yeah, let's go to campus. For this collection, I knew I wanted to use gouache as my medium, so I needed to custom mix my paints so I had exactly the right shades of each color. So I dug through my collection of gouache paints from my previous painting projects, and then I tweaked the colors to make them match the color chips of my new collection as closely as possible. For example, this dark purple is from my Halloween collection from last semester, which you may have seen in my vlog series. I needed to turn this into a slightly lighter and slightly brighter plum purple, so I mixed in some white and some different shades of violet until it was exactly right. And then I repeated this whole process until I had exactly 1 pot of paint for every color in my mood board. I also printed out black and white versions of my designs on some watercolor paper. And next to each full-size version of my design, I included some extra pieces of each one so I could practice my painting before working on the official one. These practice paintings were super quick and messy, but they helped me see if any of my colors or my color placements needed to be adjusted. I also played around a little bit with a painting style that was somewhat new to me. again. I just finished up in class and I am so tired. Like, we're so close to the end of the semester and I definitely feel the exhaustion piling, but I think I got a lot of work done, which feels really good. I mixed all those paints, I started my practice paintings, and I think I'm actually happy with how things are turning out. So this weekend I pretty much just have to finalize all of those paintings, do some texture mapping, make one more design actually. Okay, I actually have a lot I have to do. It's okay, I think I can do it. But before I head home today, I have to go to my favorite store because what do I need? White gouache, of course. I don't think I've ever finished a project at FIT without needing to go buy more white gouache, so let's go. And then it was time to start painting. First up was my cherry print, since that was by far the most tedious design and I wanted to get it out of the way while I still had some energy left. To be totally honest, my goal with this first painting was just to get through it as quickly as possible since it was fairly straightforward and featured a lot of really small details. So I just took a time lapse of the whole process so I wouldn't have to worry about filming. For this whole collection, I wanted to play around with using gouache in a new to me way, which involved watering it down and building it in layers almost like watercolor paints. That way, the hand-painted qualities would be really visible, which I thought would give this collection some fun character. To get super crisp and clean painted lines for my border, I decided to use a ruling pen, which usually I have no problems with. My paint was just a little bit too runny for this process, so I ended up messing things up a bit. You can just imagine my panic. Thankfully, this was a fairly easy fix. Okay, one painting down and 2 more to go for this weekend, which I'm a little bit overwhelmed. Okay, a bit overwhelmed. This one I think ended up taking me something like 5 hours or so. So I have a lot of painting ahead of me for this weekend and Okay, so next up I'm gonna tackle this little plum print, and I did some practice paintings the other day. And you can see I'm kind of going for like a more loose, kind of expressive painting style, which I'm a little bit nervous about because it's one of those things that if you mess it up, you're kind of stuck with whatever you get, but I'm gonna try to put my anxieties aside and just have fun with it. So yeah, let's do it. For this plum painting, I really wanted to take my time with these larger motifs and have fun with this new painting style. So here's the entire process of painting a single plum, only slightly sped up. I actually ended up really enjoying this series of paintings. Usually I pick painting styles that are much more precise and controlled, but this time I just kind of went for it and I embraced the expressive handmade qualities of this style. It was exactly what I needed at this time when I was just feeling so exhausted from the semester coming to an end, and I just really needed to let go, have fun, and embrace imperfection. after my entire day of painting, I woke up early the next morning to just keep painting. Good morning. I have one more day before this project's officially due. So today my goal is to finish my last piece of my collection, which thankfully is smaller than all the rest of them because it's just for like a little pot holder. And then I have to make my presentation board, which might end up happening tomorrow, but yeah, wish me luck. At this point, it was the last week of my semester and my creative energy was absolutely spent. So I just ended up coming up with a very simple pot holder that features some of the same designs from my rug painting, but I switched around the colors a bit so they didn't exactly match, but still went together nicely. And just like for my last paintings, I painted this one in watered down gouache, and I wanted it to look like it was made by hand in a perfectly imperfect kind of way. Once all of my paintings were done, I took them to the computer lab to scan them so I'd have some digitized versions of my designs. The next day, the day of art critique, I went to Blick to grab everything I needed to make my presentation boards. Got them. And I ended up actually going with these kind of like chipboards, I think is what they're called, and I picked them out because they kind of look like a rustic like wooden table, and I think that kind of goes with my theme, so hopefully when it's all put together it'll look really good. And yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead to campus and do that. The only empty room I could find was one with a giant teacher's desk, which ended up working out pretty nicely. And then it was time for our critique, where I presented my finished pieces and my story to the class. My collection of kitchen textiles was inspired by my family's Serbian heritage and my personal sentimental connection with the food from that region. I combined traditional Serbian rug weaving motifs with local fruits that are both culturally significant and also remind me of my family. I featured plums because they're the national fruit of Serbia. Plums are also used to make the national drink of Serbia, which is Slivovic, a plum brandy, and this festive drink reminds me of family gatherings and celebrations. I also featured vishnya, or the sour cherry, which is by far my favorite fruit ever. I have very fond memories of eating these cherries in Serbia, and my grandma makes these amazing sour cherry pies whenever we visit, so the cherry is very special to me. My goal was to make these designs feel cozy and casual so they would fit nicely in any kitchen. And although I struggled a bit with finding my voice within a very traditional subject, I ended up creating a collection that I'm really proud of. I am so excited because I printed my designs on a set of dish towels as a gift for my parents. I had these printed on a cotton linen fabric through Contrado.com, and I'm so happy with how they turned out. And I think my parents are gonna love these. If you'd like to buy some towels for your own kitchen, these designs are now available on my Contrado shop, which will be linked in this video's description. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and for following along with me on this textile school adventure. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in my next video.